program is part of the Scene Project's podcast network. The Scene Project features interviews with independent musicians, comedians, and artists from across the Midwest. Become part of our community and support local art wherever you are.
Hi, I want to welcome everyone back to another episode of Soul Impact, How Music Saved Us. I'm your host, Wild Willie, and today I got with us Amani Roberts. Thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you very much for having me. Willie, excited to be here.
So a little bit about the show. Music has kind of always been that thing that has allowed me to express myself. I'm not musically talented at any means. I do run a DJ karaoke business and / sound guy from time to time. And at an early age, I found where my childhood was rough, I was able to use music as an outlet to learn how to properly feel things. Like, instead of punching a hole in the wall, music taught me how to deal with my emotions. So that's a little story about how it got started. And as a sound guy, I see a lot of artists that are up and coming that don't believe in themselves, and they have one bad experience, and then they're done. So this is more out there. I want it to be a resource to people that are struggling mentally, and as an artist on the up and coming, that there's hope, and it's hard, but things will get better. So why don't you kind of tell everybody about yourself and kind of what you got going on?
Sure. Well, for me, name's Amani, based out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Been a professional DJ for over 18 years, played all over the world. Also an author, written 2 books, most recently The Quiet Storm, which talks about the history of R&B groups. That came out February 2025, and we made the USA Today bestsellers list. We're really excited about that. My first book was called DJs Mean Business. I take you through the time slots of a DJ set at a popular club in Hollywood and related to growing a business. Those are my 2 books. I also work with artists as a fractional artist manager, helping them manage their business and level up and grow. And then kind of finally, I'm a music business professor at Cal State University, Fullerton. So that kind of gives you an idea of who I am, what I do.
So you got a lot of hats, and you got a lot of different hats, and don't you?
Yes, I do.
I can relate. I have my business. I have the podcast. Now next year, I'm teaming up with Operation Combat Veteran Suicide Awareness, or Operation Combat Veteran Suicide, and we're going to bring benefit concerts to Missouri. So I just keep adding to my plate. Eventually, I'll know when to stop, but I doubt it. So how'd you kind of get into music?
Well, I think I was exposed to music at a very early age, just primarily through my dad. He would play music, all throughout the house, in the car, especially weekends. It would wake us up, my brother and I. So from a very young age, that's my exposure to music, and it just continued to build from my dad's initial exposure to it.
Hold up one second. Sorry about that. I had to help my daughter.
No problem. I get it.
Like I said, and none of this will be edited out. And I will be 100% honest with you, because part of this is I want to show people that it's okay to live life and live your dreams.
All right.
So you mentioned being a DJ. What first pulled you towards the turntable, and what keeps you inspired after all these years?
I think what initially inspired me to be a DJ is when I saw DJ Biz Markie perform at this club in DC. I went to Howard University in DC, and so we were at this club called Quigley's, and DJ Biz Markie performed there, and it was amazing. So I said, that's what I want to be when I grow up. But initially, I didn't think or know how it could be a full-time job. So I had a regular job working in hotels for Marriott International. And eventually, once I moved out to LA, then I started to pursue DJing, learning, going to Scratch Academy. And from there, the career grew. What continues to keep me inspired is just the different types of events that I'll play, whether it be a corporate event or a private event, or even at a lounge where I can just play any music, cross over any genres. That kind of really makes me happy. And, new music comes out that I like. So I love to share it with other people. So those are a couple of things that keeps me motivated and inspired.
I mean, I can relate to that because also I'm a DJ. I don't do turntable. I would love to learn, but I just don't do that. But with this podcast, it's been an amazing opportunity because I'm able to find artists that are independent, that aren't getting the airtime, and I play them at my DJ events. Like, there's people that, and people are like, oh, who is this? And I was like, oh, if you like them, check them out, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot of what I do is I like to help artists and people in the music industry to be discovered. Share that love. And I'll be honest, I became a DJ because I wanted people to see that country music was great. Okay. Mm-hmm. I will be dead honest. That was like, I feel country music isn't what it used to be. And I wanted people to love the old country music again. I quickly realized that's the wrong reason to be a DJ. Not everybody likes Waylon Jennings.
Yeah.
And there's songs that, holds a special spot for me. And I've been able to share that with other people. And it's been an amazing journey. I mean, I took my platform of my DJ business, which I've only had for 5 years. Mm-hmm. And I've been able to start this amazing soul impact, which my very first episodes were people that I have met through the festivals I've done.
Yeah.
And now a shout out to Podmatch. It is an amazing resource. If you're an artist or a podcaster, whoever you are, get on Podmatch. You can get connected with a lot of incredible people. I mean, that's how we met.
Yeah.
So get back to you. How do you balance being both an entertainer and an educator when it comes to your DJing?
Ooh, good question. I think entertainer, just try to stay relevant. I learn as much from my students as I teach them. So they keep me in the know about what is hip and what's going on and what's working. And then as an educator, I'm always learning. Like, I'm a lifelong learner. So I'm always learning about the music business. As I said before, I help artists that want to kind of level up, monetize their artwork, their music, just really by teaching them about the industry. With a good foundation of education, a lot of these independent musicians can really uncover money that they've left on the table. And so that really inspires me because I love to see people learn how to navigate the music business. And maybe they need to sign a label if they want to, have a lot of promotion and go a different way. But if they choose to stay independent, just show them the different options where they can monetize their music. They can claim all the royalties they want to claim and maybe grow a little slower, but a little more steadily.
Right on. It's amazing that you offer that. I mean, I have an opinion, and I try not to put my opinion too much into things because honestly, I think the problem with labels these days is they turn artists into somebody they ain't. You got a lot of labels that try to make an artist into something they're not when they found them. And a lot of times the artist is forced to become somebody they're not. And when they do fail at portraying that image, society almost pushes them away because you're not who you portrayed out to be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough thing with labels. They have many good things. They're great for like distribution, getting your song on the radio, helping you with touring. But if you're an artist and you really want to stay true to your core, then it might take you a little bit longer to grow. It might be a really long journey if you stay independent, but you'll still be you. So you'll be able to fall back on that. And I love to teach people the concept of like 1,000 true fans. Kevin Kelly's whole philosophy about if you can find 1,000 people to spend $100 on you a year, that gives you $100,000, in terms of income, and just grow from there and add on to it. And I love to teach that to the musicians so they can just grow their fan base slowly but surely, get some really truly loyal super fans, and then continue to build from there. Now, it's a long journey and it's hard and it takes time, but it works if you're patient and you can, stay committed and stay focused.
And that's funny you mentioned it, because I've had 2 different podcasts where people have mentioned exactly that. And even for me, someone that's been in the DJ business for a long time, and I've never thought about the monetizing of anything. And now that I got a podcast, honestly, I've only had the podcast June 11th was my very first episode.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I did a festival out in Somersville at a place called Captain Jack's Campground. A good friend of mine, I DJ every one of her events. Her name's Casey Smith. She's an incredible event host. And I met up with a guy by the name of Bubba Starts out there. And we just instantly, you have them people where it feels like you've been lifelong friends from the moment you meet.
Mm-hmm.
And he was one of them. And I told him about my ideal to do a podcast. Next thing I know, he's calling me a couple days later and he's like, "You should do it." And I'm like, yeah. I don't know about that. And 3 days later, I put my first episode out there. I actually interviewed him for my first episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been amazing to see my growth in 3 months. Here I am booked out until January.
Good. And
it just goes to show, no matter where you are at in your career, in your personal life, I'm a single father to a little girl that'll be 3. And it don't stop me. Use it as that motivation. And for those that are out there that are being told you'll never succeed, or people tearing you down for your career choice, use that as motivation to prove them wrong.
Yeah. Also, if you can, try to get away from those people, because really, you know what they say, you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So you need some people that are going to lift you up, because, being a creative, which is what we are, DJs, musicians, artists, is it's tough. You go through a lot of downtime. So you need to surround yourself with some positive people. And then, for musicians, there are different ways to monetize. I kind of teach, and we've learned that streaming for a musician, that's more like marketing. You're not going to make a lot of money off streaming unless you're part of the top 1%. But that can bring people, they can find you, then they can maybe join your Patreon. You can monetize that with your Patreon. I always talk about growing your email list, because you want to build your house, your proverbial house, on land that you own, not rented land like what social media is. So there's lots of different things and strategies that artists can implement, even in the independent level, where they can be successful, be happy, and still have a clear mind and be able to continue to create with not being stressed out over label demands or, just different things like that.
So you've written in your book about music, the power, and written about music's power in business. Can you share where music completely changed the vibe of the room you were in?
Oh, I mean, I always like this one story where it was it was Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. And I was DJing at this club over in Venice, California, Venice Beach. And, I put on Mariah Carey song, "All You Want for Christmas Is You." And I had the entire place, probably about 150, 200 people, like singing word for word. And for the whole song, and I got goosebumps. And then that just kind of just changed the vibe of the room, because we were still doing well. The crowd was still kind of feeling it. People were dancing and grooving and everything. But this just put it up to another level. And then I think this was back when Bodak Yellow by Cardi B was really popular. So I dropped that in next, and it just went to another level. So that completely changed the vibe of a room. We could also use an example of a corporate event where I think I had to introduce, like we introduced the CEO, and the room was a little flat. So I think I might have put on like a Earth, Wind, and Fire song, probably September. And then I did a little medley with Earth, Wind, and Fire, Bruno Mars. And then I think we finished off like Landslide. And the crowd was just like, the energy it was palpable. So that's just two different examples. One corporate event, and then one kind of in the club where it completely changed the vibe of the room. Oh, you're muted.
Oh, my bad. As a DJ, that's what I love, is being able to have that capability, you know. I've had festivals where things happen and the mood was down in the dumps, but it's almost on us to change the scenario. I mean, what you play, and what I tell everybody is, you know, a go-to for me around these festivals I do are songs like the Cha-Cha Slide, the Cupid Shuffle. And I said the thing about those, though, is they always put a smile on somebody's face.
Yeah.
Whether you're the person dancing, you're smiling, or whether you're the people watching the people dancing, you're smiling. So ultimately, bring it here. Ultimately, it's about being a light in a dark world. And that's what music allows us to do.
Yeah. I agree.
So as a professor, what's one lesson that you think every student should carry beyond the classroom?
I would say just the importance of following up. Most students are in the job market now. They're trying to find a job, they're applying, they're interviewing. But what gets lost is just the importance of following up, either with a handwritten note, an email, or something. So that'd be the first lesson. Another lesson would be like, it's okay to follow your passion and your dreams. I have so many students that are wanting to go into accounting or law or like medicine because that's what their parents told them to do. And they're already miserable thinking about it, but they do it anyways. And so I try to encourage them to just find something that you're passionate about, that's a legitimate career, and go for that, because you're going to spend so much time in your life working. You at least want it to be in an area where you're excited, you want to be there, and you want to learn. That'd be the second piece of advice I always tell them.
But both of those are amazing advice. The thing, you know, and I always tell people that you got to believe in yourself. There's a quote, and I don't remember who says it, but it's one person with a belief is equal to a force of 99 with just an interest. And, you know, that has always been since I was little. I heard it at a seminar I went to. I think I was 14, 15.
Mm-hmm.
So that has just always been something that stuck with me. I mean, I may not remember who said it, but the power is still there. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
So with the music ever changing, what do you see as your biggest opportunity to be creative in today's music industry?
I think the industry now, we're always kind of at a crossroads, but I think right now, particularly with the arrival and permanence of AI, I think that musicians should use AI as a tool, but don't use it to replace the human element of each song. And so, you know, there's nothing like singing about from the heart, about heartbreak, loss, excitement. These are emotions that are really hard for AI to duplicate. So I always just say, you know, AI's here, let's use it as a tool, but don't let that replace you singing from the heart, from your personal experiences, and embrace the imperfections in songs. Because one thing that AI does is, you know, it's pretty much cookie cutter. You follow the same chords and there's no imperfections. Like, think of I love to use the example of Jimi Hendrix when he played the anthem, but he played it on his guitar in a way where people had never heard it before. They hated it at first, but then they got to love it. That's an imperfection. Or if you have a favorite artist, it could be a Waylon Jennings, it could be a Mariah Carey, and they sing something that's like off key or in the wrong chord or something, but we end up loving that. Or it could be the ad libs from like Aretha Franklin when she's singing RES, PCT, Take Care, TCB. That's an ad lib. That's not planned. So there's beauty in the ad libs, there's beauty in the imperfections. And I think that we need to continue to let those happen and let those be a part of music.
Oh, I completely agree. Like, one of the greatest concerts I ever been to was Charlie Daniels. The way he done how great they are, you know, there was imperfections in it, but it was amazing because I think, like you said, them little imperfections are what makes the artist.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody, whether you're doing a cover or you're doing your own original work, make every show different. I mean, because you're going to get more out. Hold up a second. See? Another imperfection.
I love it. I love it. Yes.
But, yeah, just you got to stay true to who you are. And, you know, if you hear a song and it may not be for you, but you know someone that it will be for, pass it along.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, imperfections. Just roll with it. Exactly.
DJs mean power. DJ means business. It's such a powerful concept. What's one DJ skill every entrepreneur should learn?
One DJ skill that every entrepreneur, even if you're a DJ or not, should learn is the skill of troubleshooting. So in the DJ world, as you know, troubleshooting is, you know, you're playing a set, something goes wrong, speaker goes out, computer issues, needles if you're using turntables, you know, something else, the controller crashes, but you can never have the music stop. You apply that lesson to the business world where maybe you had an idea about your core business. Maybe your core business was selling this specific product, but it turns out that people actually like a different product and they like it much more than your original product. Well, you need to make some shifts so that you can continue to be in business, the music not stopping, and you might have to shift to sell this product that wasn't popular in your mind, but was popular in the students or not your client's mind. So just making adjustments, pivots, we call them, but the music can never stop. And that's troubleshooting. Just figuring out what you can do to keep the music going while you're fixing the speaker, you're fixing the computer, you're fixing your controller. Same concept, DJ world, corporate life.
I'll tell you, one of my best experiences with that was I was doing a veteran benefit and my computer quit playing music. And it was playing In Color by Jamie Johnson. And it was so powerful because at this veteran event, all the veterans started singing In Color. Dude, it was such a powerful moment. Like, I don't think I could ever explain the impact that has on someone, you know. So, yeah. You know, and if things happen, don't beat yourself up. If sound goes down, and it will happen.
Yeah.
It will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Rub it off and keep going. I mean, as a DJ, and I'm sure you've had moments where you lost sound for unknown reasons.
Yeah. At the worst possible time.
Yes. It's just hard. It is very hard being a DJ. It's not as easy as everybody thinks. Trust me.
No. It is
like
not
I said, I got in it to make everybody like country music again. And I soon realized it's not that easy.
Yeah, it's it's not as easy as it looks. People see the videos of crowds cheering and people are DJing and the DJ's getting the love, but they're not there when you could be DJing at a club and there's 2 people there. Or they're not there where you play the wrong song at the wrong time and the client is yelling at you while you're playing music. Or they're not there when maybe, you're at a wedding and the first dance song is at the wrong tempo or something's wrong, so you have to quickly adjust. Like, those are only experiences you get through doing it, being there, but still being able to fight through it and still be successful.
Oh, for sure. Like, I tell everybody, because I also do karaoke. Like, you ain't dealt with it. Yeah, it looks like it's an amazing opportunity, and it is. It has opened so many doors for me. And I'm grateful for it. But at the same time, there's been a lot of times where you have to be professional. And it's hard sometimes when you get a drunk in your face and they want to tell you that you're doing everything wrong, or you didn't play this song at this time and blah, 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 blah. And on the sound aspect, you get them guys that come in and they're, every state has them. Those prima donnas that thinks they're the best thing that hit the world. Best thing since a slice of bread.
Yeah.
No.
Stay humble.
You're going to encounter those.
Yeah.
But be professional. And you're going to encounter haters and people that don't like what you're doing with your business. And if you're doing it right, you're going to get a hater or two.
Yes. You know you've arrived when you start to have haters. So
That's right.
Yeah.
Use that as motivation. Don't comment on all that negative crap. Just thinking of it this way. Every time they comment on a post you make or an event you share, they're bumping the algorithm.
Yeah.
Social media runs on algorithms, and the more comments you get, good or bad, it's going to bump that.
Yes, it will.
And that's where I had to get, because that was a hard place for me to get, because I've always been that person that I've defended myself. If someone's saying bad about me, I'm going to jump on and defend myself, tell them what for real quick.
Yeah.
But I soon had to learn that sometimes Wild Willie has to sit down and shut up just like the next person.
Yeah, just kind of, keep it moving. Don't let them bring you down, or don't let the crabs or the trolls bring you down.
That's exactly right. So with DJing, and we kind of hit on it a little bit, but what has been your hardest obstacle to running your business?
I would say the hardest obstacle would be just consistent business development, so that you're able to build a base of business where it's consistent and there's less volatility. I'm sure you can relate, but there's some months where you'll do amazing and then other months where it's crickets. And so the challenge is always to try to build the business so that you can have like consistent revenue streams and like just a long tick up and less volatility, which will cause you to stress out less. I would say that's probably been the biggest challenge. It's just, eliminating a lot of the volatility in the business, which is very hard. It's always volatile, whether, the economy is doing well or bad. So I would say that's the one that comes to mind right away.
Oh, yeah. And in the market, that would be my biggest struggle, is because I live in a rural city, and, the music market isn't what it's used to.
Yeah.
And, people struggled, and people like, oh, I don't have the money to pay for a DJ, or I don't have this, or technology is great, but at the same time, it sucks because there's so many different Bluetooth speakers now that 9 times out of 10, you run into the problem where people think, oh, I don't need a DJ, I'll just buy a speaker.
And and with that, they'll learn the hard way, because there's nothing like a human being able to read the room and be able to take requests and see what's working and what's not working and can keep the crowd flowing. Like, we're not to a point yet where a virtual DJ or a playlist can do that. Maybe in the future, but you still need a human, because a human's going to know if there's 40 people on a dance floor, but there's 3 people who keep staying on the periphery, The human's going to know how to get those 3 people to join on the dance floor, whereas a computer will just want to keep the same people there. So there are things that humans can do as DJs that algorithms and playlists and AI can't do. And that's why you always would want to invest in a DJ, because that'll make your party much better, your event much better.
Oh, for sure. So let me ask you this. What program do you use for DJing?
I use Serato. How about you?
All right, now I'm still working on that. I use this program called Carafun where I can download music, and because it goes hand in hand with my karaoke. But
Yeah.
I've been looking for other options because Carafun's great, but you have to have internet for it most of the time. And
yeah. I use Serato, so you can download it. Don't need internet. You can download your MP3, so you don't need that. And then, another popular option is like Rekordbox. But my preference is Serato. I've been using that since I started DJing. Well, I learned on vinyl, so I learned on vinyl first, and then got introduced to Serato soon after, and I've been using that for decades.
So, okay, that brings a whole lot of more questions, not necessarily about you, but so do you buy the songs?
Yes. I will buy the songs. I also use Beatport, not Beatport. Hold on, it's Beat something, Beatport, Beat Source, where that you subscribe and they'll give you access to MP3s. You have to get it over the internet. So I use a mixture of songs I own, and if there's songs I don't have, I'll try to grab it from Beat Source. They usually will have intro versions, remixes too. So I kind of use a combination of those both, but primarily it's all purchased from either Amazon or record pools.
Really? Well, I may be reaching out to you off interview about some guidance on that.
Yeah. Yes, I got you. No worries. Yeah.
I'm always looking for ways to improve. And, that's the thing. As someone in the industry, you've got to constantly be willing to improve. You can't be the same yesterday as you was today, because necessarily the music has changed.
Yes.
But so here, sister, here, baby. But there's been times where
Daddy, no.
especially being a single parent, it's hard. And if that's you, don't give up because it's hard. Find that support system, and I'm grateful that I do have that support system. That at the end of the day, I know I could say, hey, I got a last minute gig that someone canceled, and it's a place I've been trying to get into for months. Can you watch Sissy for me? And they're like, yeah. Or what else do you need? Do you see someone to go help lug the equipment? So find you, and I think that's probably the big, even if you're not a single parent and you're pursuing it, find a support system that's going to encourage you along the way.
Yeah, I agree. Gotta find people around you that are gonna help you, lift you up, and be there for you when you have some tough times.
Uh-uh. Well, we answered that one already. So, get back to kind of what the show's about, and that's how music has saved us. Can you think back to a moment where music has truly saved you from something personal? And if you don't mind going into that a little bit.
I will say music really helped me. Like my dad, he passed away suddenly when I was 29, and that was a really tough time for me. And he was the one who exposed me to music. And so that time period, there was a couple albums out, I think Emancipation of Mimi from Mariah Carey, a Mary J. Blige album. And then I had some old school Stevie Wonder, and just putting those on repeat just helped me kind of get through it. There have been different times when specific albums or genres of music will help me get through some tough times. But that's one that becomes particularly notable. First, because my dad was one who kind of introduced me to music, and those are some of my favorite albums. And so then, if I go back now and listen to them, I have good memories, and they just always kind of help lift me up.
Right on. And I love hearing that answer because as many different songs are out there, I don't think I've ever heard the same song. Like for me, when I've always liked What Hurts the Most by Rascal Flatts.
Oh, yeah.
But when I went through my divorce 3 years ago, it hit completely different than when I first heard it because I related so much more to it. And a lot of times people don't realize that music is in your life for a season.
Yeah.
What you get out of it this moment may not be necessarily what you get out of it 5 years down the road. And another big one for me is like after my divorce, I didn't know who I was anymore because my divorce was so toxic.
Yeah.
And I'm not blaming her, I'm not blaming me. It takes both to cause a problem. And I just didn't know who I was anymore. And I used the song Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson. Country as the core as I am. That song helped me start to turn the roots on how to become who I am today. And if honestly, it wasn't for that song pushing me through them dark times, I probably wouldn't be where I am now. I mean, as a DJ, as a single father, as owner of a business, two business technically, because now I got Soul Impact. So, don't give up. And if you're out there, and I always hit on mental health on every one of my episodes, and it's just what moves me. If you're out there and you're at the end of your ropes, get help. There's nothing wrong with getting help, reaching out. Often our pride gets in our way about, no, I'm not going to get help. People will think this way of me. And I'm big into quotes. And there's also another quote that's, you win if you don't quit. And, I've been there. Divorced, have a 8-month-old I was going to raise on my own and not know which way to go. So there's always hope. There's people that care. And for those of you that ain't been out there, that hasn't been told I love you, you are loved. Reach out. I mean, I don't care if you look me up. Reach out. Find that support person. Find that one person that you can dump everything on and they'll still have your back. So, okay, and we kind of touched on this a little bit, but we're going to see if you answer it a little different. Same question, but different twist. When the world is at the heaviest for you, what's that one song that you can listen to that instantly restores that energy?
So many. So many. Overjoyed, Stevie Wonder. I'm a slow jam kind of guy, if you can't tell. So I love like Love Takes Time, Mariah Carey. I love And the Beat Goes On, The Whispers. I love Dancing on My Own by Robin. That's a great one right there. I love that song. I could keep listing songs after songs after songs. There's so many. Paid in Full, Eric B. and Rakim. Yeah, those are 5 right there.
So, what's an advice that you would give someone that's at the end of their ropes, like mentally at the end of their ropes?
Just general advice, I would always suggest people go talk to a licensed professional. Therapy is a good thing. Therapy can save you, even if you're the most successful of people. talking to someone, just talking it out can save you. That's the first thing I would say. The second thing I would recommend is maybe writing down your emotions, starting a journal and just starting to write down all your emotions, what you're feeling. Write down something every day, you know, in the morning when you wake up, but use that as your own version of therapy. But no matter how hard it gets, you know, there will be tomorrow. For example, no matter how cold the winter is, spring always comes after the winter. No matter how dark it is at nighttime, it is most dark right before dusk comes, which means then sunrise comes. So just kind of keep those in mind. And that's what I would share with people. Those two kind of quotes or philosophies, therapy, and then do some journaling and writing.
Man, those are such strong advice. It really is. Like I said, I try to be an advocate for those because a lot of people, and that's what I want this to be. I want this to be a resource that when someone hears it, they're like, man, I heard Amani. He has an amazing story, or he has such knowledge. You know, they can be able to look you up and say, hey, watch what you're doing, guide you along the way, have you guide them along the way.
Yeah.
I mean, so if someone wants to listen to you or follow you, do you have somewhere they can look you up or where you follow you?
I say first, if there's anyone out there who's a musician or, you know, a DJ and they're looking to monetize more or grow their business, monetize their music, or just want to understand perhaps money they've left on the table, go to amaniexperience.com/call. So that's like A like Apple, M like Mary, A like Apple, N like Nancy, I, the word experience, all one word, .com/call. And get on a free call with me. I can give you a free consultation. And then all my socials are Amani Experience. So you can find me there.
Right on. And make sure you send me those links.
Yes.
That way, when I do upload this video, I can put those in the description for you.
Absolutely.
So how do you see music as a tool for healing the community, not just an individual?
I think music, it breaks down different demographics. You have people from different ages, different races, different political affiliations, but the one thing in common that music can do is it can bridge all those gaps. Because we can all like certain artists, we can all like certain songs, doesn't matter where we're from and what we believe, but music has the incredible power to bridge those gaps or those divisions and bring people together.
Oh yeah. I love seeing a community rally through music. I mean, I talked about this benefit I'm putting on next year for the veterans. Such a great thing. And you see other, you know, people rally for all sorts of reasons. You know, when the hurricane wipes out certain states because of, you know, or the loss of a loved one, or it's amazing the healing capability that music really does have. So, what are some of your biggest influences in the music industry?
You know, in the music industry, I love Babyface. I think Babyface is a genius. He's worked with artists that you know, like a Whitney Houston, Bobby Brown, Mariah Carey, Outkast, Whispers. Like he's worked with Eric Clapton, some of the most famous musicians of all time. So he's a big influence of mine. I would definitely say that. You know, even though he's not living anymore, Quincy Jones, just with the way he brought, you know, way he started with music and really kind of busted on the scene much, much earlier on than Michael Jackson. He's another one. Um, Influences. I'm a big Mariah Carey fan. I've mentioned her a few times. I love the way Mary J. Blige tells stories. I think she's an amazing storyteller within her music. Um, yeah, those are some people that kind of come to mind in terms of influences. Yeah, those are probably my top five. I think, the Isley Brothers, another amazing group starting in the 50s all the way to the 2000s with hits. They're a huge influence also. Yeah. And then New Edition, because they're kind of doing the same thing the Isley Brothers did. And they've been around since the 80s, still going strong. Those are some of my influences.
So, what surprised you the most while writing The Quiet Storm about the R&B groups?
I just wanted to tell the story of the history of R&B groups because through my work in grad school at Berklee College of Music, I studied why they disappeared. And I feel that it's not really talked about. So I wanted to share their story, but also back it up with facts and research. And I was able to break it down by decade and talk about all the greatest R&B groups in history, what happened to them, their hits, their Grammy nominations, my thoughts. And then the last 15% of the book is what happened to them, why did they disappear, and what's going to happen next. And that was just my inspiration, was to bring my thesis, which is what I did in grad school, bring that to the world. And that's what made up the book.
I don't want to be.
So, how would you translate the energy of live music into the written word?
That's difficult to do because you can write about experiencing a concert, how you're feeling, but the beauty of a concert is that you're vibing and you're getting the energy from other people there, and that's really hard to put into writing. Like, there's one thing to write about a concert and the songs that were sang and what the dancing was like and the crowd was singing along, but to be there with the crowd when they're singing along and when people are screaming out about a certain song or they're dancing or they're just hugging, laughing, crying, that's something that's very difficult in terms of written word. So it's like the energy in the room is really hard to describe via the written word.
Okay, and we talked about how you're a teacher. What I'm interested in knowing is, how has the classroom changed your perspective as a performer?
I think the classroom has taught me how to read a room better. There's nothing like having a group of 21, 24, 25-year-olds and having them start to get on their devices, yawn, maybe get distracted. They'll teach you how to read a room very quickly. One of the most important things about a DJ is to read a room. So being able to adjust on the fly, change things up, add in different activities as a professor to keep them engaged. Just in general, engaging the classroom and doing things in short bursts. And you can't lecture all the time because they'll tune out. So that has helped me specifically in reading a room, whether it's a classroom or a club or a corporate event or a wedding. And then I would say they have taught me about music genres that I wasn't aware of and artists I wasn't aware of also. So I learn every time we have a discussion.
Man, you just keep answering my next question. Because my next question was, what do students teach you about music? So,
oh yeah,
you just answered that one.
yeah. There we go.
So, we talked about mentoring a little bit earlier. When you approach someone that you think would be a mentoree relationship, how do you approach that person?
Generally speaking, you want to at least try to maybe meet them for coffee or get on a Zoom, just have initial conversation to make sure you vibe together. And then from there, just kind of keep in touch, try to figure out how you could be of service to them. Then maybe ask them some questions, but make sure it's like a two-way relationship. You're not always asking or taking from them. That's kind of how I approach it.
Oh, yeah. And I think it is so important that there's nothing wrong with being poured into, but at a point, you're going to have to start pouring into somebody else. Like, you're going to get a point in your career or in your life, that you're going to be able to pour into someone else.
Yeah.
Time is money. But at the same time, you got to be able to willing to say, hey, you're worth 5-10 minutes of my time, 30 minutes of my time. So we should make sure you're moving in the right steps. A lot of people don't have that. I didn't have that when I started my DJing business, and I made a lot of mistakes. But someone comes along now that they want to learn, hey, what mistakes did you make as a DJ, and how did you manage? My biggest one would be thinking I had to have the highest cost in equipment. And for a long time, I didn't start because I didn't have the money to drop $1,000 on equipment, and that's on the low end sometimes. Then I had a friend of mine tell me, he's like, Willie, why don't you look on Marketplace? So if you're trying to get into the music industry and you're not sure that's what you want to do, you're just exploring it, don't buy the top of the line equipment. You can hit Marketplace and Craigslist, whatever you have locally to you, and get something that can give you the feel for it. Don't worry about, and if you feel like that's what you're into and that's what you want to do, upgrade as you go.
Yeah.
I mean, my first set cost me $450, and I bought it off Marketplace. It was a complete set. Some of the big 18-inch subs, big old tall, 3-foot tall speakers, heavy as all get out. Barely fit in the back of my truck. It was so big. And I used it for 2 years.
There you go.
But then I started upgrading, and I upgraded to powered speakers. Probably the best upgrade I've ever made. I am not going to lie.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, I'm old school. I like non-powered. Yeah, but maybe so, but I like not, and you're going to find what works for you. Take advice. Try that advice. But if it don't work for you, at least you tried it.
Amen. Yeah. Well, I gotta get ready to run from this now. Any last things I can share?
No, I think that's it. I want to thank you again for taking time to come on the show. And y'all remember, love one in each other, and build each other up. Be there when no one else is. Love you guys. Until next time.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Thank you for being on here.
All right. Just